In this episode, you'll discover how limiting beliefs could be the biggest hurdle for your personal rowing progress. You've probably done the meters, you've nailed the technique, but here's the thing that really holds you back. It's fear of failing in front of the people who you've known for years.
Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters rowing coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio, where today I want to talk about fear of failure. I was round the dinner table with friends last night, and I was told a story by someone else who was there who said, I would love to go and race at, name a regatta that is fun and you'd enjoy doing. But what they said was, I don't want to come last. And it prompted a really deep discussion around the table as to what it was that they were frightened of, what it was that made them feel that they didn't want to do it. And so one person said, well, I did the World Masters Games on a mountain bike as it happened, and I had no idea of the standard. I'd never entered an event like that before. I went and practiced the course. I went all the way around it. I succeeded in doing the course ahead of time, so I felt confident. And yet in the car on the way home, my partner said to me, you do know you have to go round twice in the race. And they didn't. And then someone else countered and said, well, I'd love to go and do the World Masters Regatta, and I want to do it in my single, and I want to be competitive. And so we said, well, what does that mean? And they just said, well, I don't want to be 300 meters behind when I hear that first beep of somebody going over the finish line. And so we probed a bit, and then they said, well, if it was beep, 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 and it was quite quick, I wouldn't mind. But I don't want to be the person who's just way behind and they're waiting to start the next race and I haven't finished. So what is it that holds us back? One of the things is preparation. Of course, you want to feel like you're well prepared for the event that you want to do. But Masters has fear show up in a uniquely different way that's very different from juniors or elites. Kids have very little fear a lot of the time, not all of them, of course, but they are less good than adults at thinking through the consequences of their actions. And so it might be that you think, I'm going to look bad relative to my younger self rather than other competitors. And yet people with a competitive mindset approach things perhaps a little bit differently. And you might be new to master sport and you haven't done competitions or an exam of any type for years and years and years. So you can totally see why that gives you a reason to have some anxieties. And even me, I'm a really competitive person. I've raced for years, but I also have pre-race anxiety, and it holds you back from trying things. So the things that I'd like to think about today is a little mindset shift in your mindset. So what is failure to you? And I would like to suggest a definition, which is this: a failed piece, a failed part of your training is one where you've learned nothing about your own effort or your own pacing. So sometime where you have stayed within your capabilities, totally satisfactory, but did you learn anything? Did you try anything a little bit different? Did you notice anything a little bit different? The other thing you can think about is separating failure by that new definition in your training from your racing. Now, training is where we should feel safer and are able to practice and try slightly different things. So one of the people around my dinner table was saying, I feel fine when I'm rowing in a double with this other person and they felt that because they had a personal perception that the two of them were very similar in terms of their skill set, the number of years of experience. And where they felt anxiety was when they had a more experienced person sit in the boat with them or sit behind them, and therefore, of course, able to observe what they were doing. So if you are that more experienced person, think about ways that you can give confidence to someone in your crew who's less experienced than you. Because let's face it, everybody wants to be the least experienced person in the crew. It's like buying the worst house in the best street. That is how you define your success. You tend to look up and compare yourself to people who are, in your eyes, better than you. Keeping up with the Joneses, people who are richer than you are different than people who you perceive are poorer than yourself. So in practice, could you try a high risk drill? It might just be doing square blades. It might be doing some catch drills. It might be taking the training wheels off, trying something where you don't have someone sitting the boat level for you. And think about things that you can do that are limited but doable. So here's an example. What about a 5-stroke rule? Commit to doing 5 strokes of this new thing in a way that is confident and different from your previous norm. And commit to doing it at one particular point on your lake or river every single time you go out. So it might be 5 maximal strokes, max power, and you do it when you go under the bridge, or you do it when you go past that particular tree. Even if those 5 strokes are not perfect in your eyes, you'll still learn from them. Think about when you've got a coach with you and they want you to practice racing starts. Do you ever just do one? No. You'll always do 2 or 3. You'll always build up. You'll do the first 3 strokes, and then you'll try 5 strokes, and then you'll try 10. And the whole point about this is the repetition and becoming more familiar. And that's what builds confidence. The other strategy in your redefining failure that I'd like to suggest is when you come off the water after your outing and you do a debrief. Most of us do this. What worked? What would I repeat if that I felt I did well and that I might be able to do either at higher pressure or for longer or with some other advantage? And what's something that I might deliberately risk? Now, a risk is something where your success is not guaranteed. And when it comes to fear of failure, understanding the risks, I think, is one mindset change that can help you to feel a little more capable of trying something different. Because a limiting belief is something which you tell yourself, but which you won't get past it unless you try something. So I can't do square blades. Great. It's a limiting belief. You will continue to believe that unless you try to do square blades, try to learn the technique, try to build up to it gradually. That same thing, the first 3 strokes, the first 5 strokes, the first 10 strokes. And then you can challenge your limiting belief. Now, if you don't want to challenge your limiting belief, that is fine. It's going to stay with you. But taking risks, and as we get older, we become more conscious of risk. Taking risks is something that may help you to get more satisfaction from your rowing by learning something new. So when you come off the water and you're doing that debrief, instead of talking about the good things that happened, why don't you as a crew share one good failure that you had? And if you're a leader in the group or a more experienced person, you might want to be the first to speak, which will then give confidence to other people as they're in the group alongside you, talking about the things that were their failures. And you don't need me to explain what that might be, but you could see how that shows people that your rowing is not perfect and you still have things that you're working on, And they might be able to say, well, I was working on the same thing. And that, again, gives a little bit more confidence and helps them to redefine what failure actually is. So it's my belief that fear of failure really steals speed more than lack of fitness. And so pick one low stakes thing that you can try in the next couple of weeks where you intentionally take a risk and report back. How did you go? What happened as a result? And did you learn something from it? Till next time.
We are part of the RowingChat podcast network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.